Hi, JP Fournier of the Movie Jerks here, and one of the requests that we've been getting a lot of is to do unveilings or unboxings. Supposedly unboxings are quite popular. We at the Movie Jerks, we do get a lot of packages sent to us with really weird films. We've gotten over 17 of the Howard the Duck films sent to us and a couple of the Talking Cat. Thank you to all those who send those, I guess, but I do like the idea of just finding out what package we received and doing a review of that movie. So let's see what movie we got this time. And we got my underwear. I forgot I ordered underwear. Well, it looks like I'm doing another random review video this week. So I got my list here of all the movies I've never watched before, giving it a spin, the 4 that come up or the 4 I'm watching. So what we got? We got the Worm Eaters. That's interesting. Tooth Fairy 2. Party Line. Well, that could be okay. And My Daddy Is in Heaven. Oh, great. This is going to be a fun week. The Worm Eaters. If you have fetishes for mastication mixed with hell mythology, then this is the film for you. With all the recognition and praise given in the last decade to movies that are so bad it's good, I'm surprised Worm Eater doesn't come up more often, because this might be one of the strangest bad films I have ever seen. The film is about Herman, a hermit who raises and talks to worms. When the mayor sets out to force him off the land, Herman starts putting his army of worms into people's food. And when the people ingest these worms, they turn into half-worm-like monstrosities, which leads these wereworms to seek revenge on their maker. Now, as I explain that, it may sound like it makes somewhat sense, but I am leaving out a lot of confusing details. The film spends a lot of time on these environmental activists striving to save Herman's property. It spends time on this widower who believes that Herman is secretly rich and is holding back a fortune. We get to see these vacationers who cannot stand vacationing, and this archaeology student who gets involved whether she wants to or not. The film has terrible dialogue, terrible acting, terrible special effects, bad editing, and most of the film is dedicated to close-ups of open-mouthed chewing, with worms inside the food. The film disguises itself as a children's film, with pastel-colored paintings at the beginning, a children's song sung by children played throughout the film, While I didn't find this very entertaining, I was fascinated and intrigued by how or why the film was made. I can only recommend this film to people who seek out the oddest and weird of obscure films. Tooth Fairy 2. Well, this had less farting, shitting, screwing your cousin, male chauvinist, blue-collar comedy than I had expected from Larry the Cable Guy. Oh, it's still in there, but just less than I was expecting. The film disguises itself as a morality tale, but doesn't teach or demonstrate any moral intelligence. At the beginning, Larry is driving his girlfriend to her family event, but takes a detour to buy a ticket for a chance to win a Camaro. At the draw, she keeps telling him how she needs to be at the event by a certain time, but he pushes her away and ignores her needs because he is interested in winning a chance to win a Camaro. The film shows us that the antagonist lies about who wins the game so that Larry can stay longer, which causes his girlfriend to find alternative transportation as well as an incentive to break up with him. The film makes it appear that his behavior would be acceptable because he wasn't meant to win. But whether he wins or loses doesn't change the fact that he pushes her aside for his own selfish needs. Just because the outcome of the intentions change doesn't mean that the intentions do as well. See, there is a reason why attempted murder is a crime. Now, I wish I could say that this film takes this moment to teach us that this selfish behavior is wrong. But the film takes another angle for the lesson it wants to teach. And that is that Larry should fight to win back his girlfriend because he has nothing better in his life than her.
But you deserve to be with somebody whose greatest memory is about you.
The film teaches you, if you fantasize about a person more than their significant other, then you deserve to be with that person more. Oh yeah, that doesn't encourage losers and creeps to stop stalking people. In the end, this is a film that wants you to side with a lazy, crude, immature, fat and dirty man who dresses in a pink tutu or a pink overall and sneaks around children's bedrooms at night. Tooth Fairy 2 is a whole bunch of wacky, morally stunted unfunniness for the whole family. Party Line. Party Line is a sleazy's exploitation thriller that either doesn't know what it wants to exploit, or decided to exploit everything all in one shot. The story is about two siblings, both traumatized by the horrible abuse they experienced in their childhood, and now get sexual thrills from murdering perverts. Oh, and let's not forget that they also display incestual tendencies as well as the male dresses up as a transvestite. And back in the 80s, that meant no good. They find their victims while calling 900 party lines, luring the perverts back to their place so they can murder them. To prevent future killings, two detectives team up together and put themselves in harm's way, along with a 13-year-old girl who is a party line expert. The 13-year-old girl is played by Patricia Patz, who also voiced Peppermint Patty in the Charlie Brown Peanuts cartoons, which made this a little bit more creepy. But besides all this, the film is not as sleazy as I expected it would be, as most of the film is dedicated to police procedurals, where the procedurals are basically office gossip. The film attempts to have a suspenseful ending, but the build-up towards it is so inauthentic that nothing feels real. Party Line works better as a form of nostalgia for the 80s. And perverts. My Daddy is in Heaven. Now we get to the most offensive film in this video. My Daddy is in Heaven is based on a best-selling children's book called My Daddy is in Heaven with Jesus. The book was created to help children cope and accept the passing of a parent or a loved one. And I think that's an important issue to address, regardless of any religion or belief system. I expected the film to be about the daughter and her understanding and acceptance of the concept of heaven. However, that portion of the story only takes up about 10 minutes of the film. The movie is about the mother's coping with the loss and her appallingly and shamefully selfish behavior. The film starts with the dad getting into a motor vehicle accident as he's fetching his daughter's jacket at nighttime. That puts him in a coma. Our protagonist spends all of her time by the bedside, ignoring her motherly duties. Now, spoiler alert, the dad dies. Unable to cope with the loss of her husband, the mother then starts seeking out people to abuse and to hurt in order to feel better about herself. Seeing that she cannot be an adult or behave appropriately around people she loves, she leaves the family to go hang out with her drunk friend and the most cringeworthy attempt of comedy I have seen in years.
Famous tapes.
Together, the two go on benders, treating people around them like garbage, and even vocally abusing a homeless man.
Earl, do you know why you're on the street? It's because God has no mercy.
Yeah, take that, Randy Quaid. And fortunately, we were able to get some clarification on this scene, as the actor explained herself and the intentions on a Christian-based podcast.
So you see hilarious situations happening at the bar. You see Becca yell and spit and tear signs off of a smelly homeless man, hitting the cop in the face, like real life things that are flipped on their head, and it's funny.
Wow, what a charmer. And what is this movie that's based on a children's book missing? Oh, that's right, a rape scene. Now I get it. This is a film about a self-centered person that's going to find the error of their ways by the end. So what event instigates this lesson? Oh, of course, a suicide. I was wondering when this movie based on a children's book would get to suicide. The incident happens on a bus when our protagonist overhears another guy, also dealing with being an asshole, goes to the bathroom and comes out and faints in the aisle. They stop the bus, take him outside, barely try to revive him physically before they try to save him spiritually. They pray as a group and send his spirit to heaven, as shown in this crane shot. And our protagonist finally realizes that she's a self-centered bitch and goes back to her original home to be a mother once again. Now, here's my issue with this climax. If he was serious about killing himself, he wouldn't have left the bathroom. But he stumbles through the bus, getting everyone's attention, which would indicate that he wants to be seen and possibly saved. If this is the case, why don't people try harder to save his physical body? They know that he swallowed pills, so why not stick their hands down his throat to induce vomiting? And if they have to pray for him, why do they need everyone to pray at once? Couldn't some people still try to save him physically while everyone else prayed around them? I bet there were people on the bus that were not praying. And why does the death of a suicide victim cause our protagonist to think, oh, you know, maybe I should stop drinking, abusing people, and ignoring my daughter? My Daddy is in Heaven is an unpleasant watch, with lots of angry acting, uncomfortable situations, and a lesson that should be simple, but ends up being muddled and confusing. And there you have it, our first random reviews for the year 2021. If you have seen any of these films, we'd love to hear your opinions in the comments section. And for more information about the Movie Jerks, you can go to www.themoviejerks.ca.